and action. What's up, big man? How you doing?
I'm great. Good to see you guys, and appreciate you having me on. It's a lot of things going on in the swimming world, so appreciate you guys. I love your new format of going down topic by topic and sort of seeing what's coming. I feel like it's what's that one on ESPN where they sort of knock out each topic? That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Pardon the interruption.
Yeah, that's it.
Around the horn, maybe either one.
Just so don't get gonged on it. That's what you're hoping doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's right.
Although I probably deserve to be gonged a lot. So yeah.
How was your Olympic experience? Just quickly.
The short version was probably like most people. It was the strangest Olympics ever in terms of not having the roar of an audience. The athletes created a lot of energy, especially the Germans that brought drums and trumpets, and the Russians that had drums with them. The sort of Westerners aren't used to that kind of meet. European championships, and Brett, you've been there before. Those European championships are like a party. I mean, they bring in all kinds of noisemakers and everything else. Well, they're all used to that. So we were in a situation where the U.S. guys had some things we were beating against each other, and people were trying to generate as much noise and energy as they could, I think, in their team environment. So there was some energy, but nothing like having the roar of a crowd and the feeling of a giant roar. And I feel really terrible for the Japanese. They put on an amazing event. They could not have been more hospitable. You could see the events and the facilities were such first class. And then finally, the village was a different type of experience because with the plastic shield guards between every single person at the dining table, that usually becomes sort of the Star Wars bar atmosphere where all these different creatures are coming in, and everybody, you have the gymnasts that are like 4 feet tall and the basketball players that are 7 feet tall. And I'm talking about the women's team basketball players. Yeah, they're going through the dining hall and all the different languages. It's but at the end of the day, it's an amazing setting. The Olympics always, Brett, like you released yesterday, it's such a pressure cooker that's unique to any other event in the world, given that it's every 4 years, a chance to show, not like you can make, the same event next year. And I would say also the being able to sort of share with other sports people. I remember the first night I was in the village, the Fiji rugby team was all walking around inside the dining hall with their medals around their necks. And it was so cool. You could see how proud they were of it. And it was fun to share those kind of moments that are pretty typically Olympic. There were some of those moments, but not near what normally goes on at the Olympic Games. But, it's the first time Israel has ever flown their flag outside of the dorms. So the safety and security was top notch, of course, in Japan. And so there were some things that were just beautiful about the mixing of the countries. And once again, the community showing the world we actually can get along, is I think one of the greatest examples of what the Olympics can be, just the ultimate peacetime event.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, it didn't take away from the level of competition. I mean, the swimming itself, just from what we were looking at, we didn't see the behind the scenes, but man, the competition was great. Yeah, real good first class swimming. And congratulations to the Israeli team, which you were leading. Talk to us about some of the highlights you guys had in the pool.
Yeah, I think just the main thing was that they were doing a lot of lifetime best times, and that's a really hard thing to do at the Olympic Games. The level of the athletes on the Israel team are probably at the point where making a semifinal, maybe sneaking into a final is a very high achievement. I will say in open water, Matan was 4th place, which nobody would have projected that he would be in that group of the highest breakaway group. As he's, I think his best mile time is only about a 15:20 or 15:15. So he's not even in the category of the other guys that in terms of speed, but he raised his level. And so it was fun to watch that from afar. But internally, the number of lifetime best times, the number of efforts to like the relay, the men's 800 free relay breaking the national record by 3 or 4 seconds, and the medley relay breaking the record, and getting into finals in the mixed medley was quite an event. And hats off to a combination of U.S. based college swimmers from Israel and some that had trained at Wingate, trained with Luca Gabrero, and who's the iron coach this year in the ISL, a couple of them, and some trained with their club team. So it was a variety of places. It wasn't like there's one big training center that trained everybody, yet they all came together, built a real nice community there at the Olympics. And for me, it was fun to sort of watch after being the U.S. coach 5 years ago, and then watching a smaller country and then being able to observe the other countries during the Olympics. I think I actually learned more in this role as far as my, sort of coaching observations than I did when I was a U.S. coach, when I'm just so busy and so on point trying to get every last swim to be as good as it can be with the USA. So it gave me a chance to sort of take in the bigger picture and learn a little bit more as a coach, take some more videos of different athletes, and some of the new names and things like that. So it was a great opportunity. Thanks.
I appreciate it. Well, listen, this is a new format for us. We get on here and we talk about topics that are current and pertinent to the swimming world. You're about to head off, leading up the LA Current again. When do you actually get on a plane to go off the ISL?
Tuesday. Kristen and I leave Tuesday.
Okay, great. Well, we got the topics here, so let's just get into this. Sonny actually is in a meeting right now with Energy Standard, so he couldn't be on the show at this point in time. He's actually in a meeting talking to them as we speak. So let's get going.
All right, first up, the new Australian Swimming League has been postponed.
Already, before it started. Dang. Well, look, honestly, they're struggling in a way that is different to the way that we're struggling in America. We're struggling, trying to keep people from dying from this mess, whereas the Australians have taken an approach of kind of locking down the country and taking a different approach with it. My parents have been locked up in Sydney, my sister, and they've been locked up for a couple of months, not being able to leave the house. So it's a whole different approach with how they're doing it. But just on the Australian Swim League, we talked to Rowan the other day, and I asked him about this. And my impression of this was it was going to be a direct competitor with the ISL, but it sounded more like it was going to be a feeder system for the ISL. So it was like, let's have some domestic competition, which will then lead into the ISL season. So it actually didn't seem that it was going to take away from the ISL at all. It was going to be more as a supportive base for the athletes. But here we are. It's being postponed this year, and it won't even happen until kind of the middle towards the end of next year. So right now, I think the idea of it was great, but it looks like it's just been put on hold.
I actually think it's better that it's put on hold right now. I'm not sure they were ready to do all the things you need to do it right. And I think one of the things that is different is that, from what I understand from talking to the Aussies over at the Olympics, was that this was brought to them by professionals that put on similar events in cricket and basketball and things like this. So it was, being presented by these people who have done this type thing before. And then swimming, it was the show. The format's already there. And so if they can't do it right, I don't think there's a need for a big rush. I know the biggest thing, according to at least the coaches, that's needed in Australia is meaningful competition, they call it, which, pressure competition where you don't know if you're going to finish third or 12th. And in the smaller countries, a lot of times, hey, I can cruise the prelims. There's really no pressure even in the finals. I can swim a alternative strategy and still get the outcome. So I'm sure they'll still look to create the meaningful competitions. And I think the format they were coming up with was exciting. I thought it was, I agree with you. I thought they were going to be in competition with the ISL, but the more you talk to the coaches, and it's also nice because they were, the league went to the coaches as the key people that would lead the different teams. So there's already a built-in sort of infrastructure with the coaches that have the big clubs. I talked to Mooney for a while, and I know he was excited about having one of the teams. But I think that's going to be a successful league when they get it going. It seems like in Australia, with the excitement there is around swimming, not just right now, but historically, it should be able to stand up on its own. I mean, if cricket can stand up on its own, certainly swimming can. It's like in the U.S. watching cornhole and watching darts. I'm like, come on, we got to be able to do this.
How dare you insult cricket like that?
I don't even know what it is.
It's baseball, basically. Yeah.
One of the interesting things that Rohan had said on the podcast was, I guess like back in the day, Gennady Turetsky has always said like, hey, your youngsters don't get up and swim enough, they don't compete enough, they don't race enough, and that was in the back of his head when this came to his desk, and he's kind of excited to get the age group swimmers in the mix, the young kids in the mix to get up and swim, and I thought that was pretty neat too.
This topic has kind of come up here for us, David, in some of our chats, our coaching chats. Is this something that the US should put together for their own professional athletes?
Yeah, but I actually think it'd be better coming from something like Australia, where an outside organization comes in and offers the structure that people that already run some of the perhaps lacrosse leagues or some of the new rugby leagues that are out there right now that are forming. I'd love to see some of those organizations get involved in creating such a thing, because I do think that the number of athletes that post college would keep swimming if there was some alternatives to do that. And the ISL is one of them. But even the number of men, I mean, we'll get to the ISL league stuff, but in context to the number of people, I mean, the European champion in the 50 freestyle was not selected during the draft or even during the supplemental draft. And so there were, later on there was some picked up on sort of last minutes, but there's a lot of men in particular that still are professional level that aren't getting picked up. I think we'd have a harder time with an audience in the USA because the competition for eyeballs is really hard. But, if we worked hard at, I was just on an ASCA board call, and I think if we worked through whatever organizations would be willing to help it be successful, I think it could be something that's very successful. And even if we just got the aquatic audience in there, I do think there's probably an appetite for it, and hopefully we'll get to that.
All right, cool. Let's move on to the next topic here, Nate.
ISL season 3.
Boom, there it is. Tuesday.
Yeah, I guess we're about to start, but the big news is that the playoffs are in the Netherlands. In the finals, we don't know yet, unless you know, in January. So it's a little bit of a, you're swimming for a month, you're kind of off for a month, you're swimming for a month, you're off for a month. So a little different from the last go round.
Does it matter to you, David, that you don't know where the finals are? Is it a big deal, or doesn't, wherever it is?
I think most teams are just trying to figure out how they're going to get into finals. That's 4 teams, and definitely the teams the depth has changed, the dynamics have changed. We all sort of think Aqua was the biggest beneficiary to the draft, given they were sort of given a couple of good freebies, and so I think that the balance has changed a little bit. And so getting to the Final Four is probably the thing everybody's thinking about. We understand that Constantine needs to put it where it makes the most sense for their business. This is a business venture. This isn't, it's entertainment business, but and given that he's, sort of made a lot of last minute decisions, and he and his staff, I think we've become used to that, and we're choosing to be in the league, and the league is paying like nothing ever has before in the sport of swimming. As far as the coaching, the experience of it is an educational clinic every day at these places, and the practices and the competitions is so many amazing athletes and doing so many different variety of events. You test their mettle by multiple events, and so it's a lot of opportunity to grow in so many different ways. And so I don't think anybody's stressing too much about where the last finals are going to be, and that will be the shortest by far of the competitions. And I think everybody's looking forward to a little break in sort of late December and January, if they didn't take a break right now going into the ISL. And that's going to be part of the story of this ISL, is who's having Mai Tais and Twinkies and Ho-Hos right now, and who's been training. So, and I know on the LA Current, the communications I've had with the athletes, there's a variety. I mean, some have been on, in essence, vacation, and some have been training hard, coming down from, talked to Hector from Mexico, and he said he's coming down from an altitude training camp, been training very hard. He feels like he's in great shape. So we'll have a variety of people, and then as coaches, we're going to have to figure out how to put them in the lineup based to some degree on that.
Is there anyone you could tell us, give us an exclusive? Is there anyone who may not be showing up for the first few rounds of the LA Current?
Yeah, the right now, Bronte Campbell, with all the restrictions in
The Aussies.
Australia, she's not going to wouldn't come until the semifinals, and we have to make the semifinals. Honestly, the last meet will be the lowest 4 ranking teams, and the bottom 2 will get eliminated. Those 4 teams have to stay in Naples for an extra, I believe, 8 days. And I don't know if it's proper to call it this, but I honestly, I've privately amongst my staff, I've been called the biggest loser meet, and hopefully we're not in that competition. But if we are, we'll certainly stay around the extra 8 days and drink some more amazing espresso and compete a little bit further into the competition. But I think to some degree, there's athletes even right now that you're sort of hearing last minute adjustments to, and part of the strategy, I guess, at this point is to probably not show your hand too much of who is missing or what kind of fitness they're in. I'm not sure if people are spying on people through social media to see who's, who are posting only with a drink and who are posting from a pool in the middle of workout and showing, what they're doing in training.
Well, listen, in fairness to the athletes, is it too soon to be going into a competition like this? I mean, should we have given them a little bit more time, or is it okay just to turn up the way you turn up?
I think we need to capture the energy from the Olympics and put it to work. I mean, there's, I think we have a window of time where hopefully we picked up some global audience of the sport of swimming with the number of variety of athletes from around the world that were successful at the Olympics. I think there's there might have been stirred up an appetite in some countries that haven't had the appetite before. So I think strategically, from a business perspective, I think it's probably wise to, as many of the big names as we can get, to put them out there to race again. And it's short course meters, so they're going to come off a year of hard training for long course. I think most of them are going to be fine. Some of them probably some faster because they've been on a semi-vacation or during this window. So I'm not too worried about that. It's more like the multiple events and the second day, hitting the 6th event of a 2-day format. I think that's when the athletes that haven't been trained are going to feel it quite a bit more. But I mean, from a generic historical sort of standpoint, I would say yes. Of course, we would rather had this start, in November and carry through there. But I think also most of the athletes that signed up understand that they can compete, they can win some money, they can be on exciting team format, and then still have time to take at least a short break in later December, early January, then come back and train for the World Championships or for Europeans for the European Championships by the end of the summer.
Yeah, well, I also think, in fairness to the organisers of the ISL, I think what they're trying to capture is a professional league. I think they want swimmers to become professional and professional minded. So it's like, look, get your couple of weeks after the Olympics. That's understandable, but get back to work and start racing just like any other professional league out there. It's very limited in terms of the amount of full holiday rest you get these days. So if swimming is going to progress into those professional ranks, which, this is the 3rd season, now it's time to kind of man up and let's take ownership of this, become a professional athlete, show up, be ready to go.
Yeah, I think one thing different this season is nobody was on a team because they chose the team. This time the teams chose them. They either retained them in the 15, they drafted them, or at the end of everything, then they had some ability to say yes or no to whether they wanted to be on the team or not. So I think you're exactly right, Brett. I think it has become a professional league now. You were selected by a team. Your responsibility is to be good for this team. And if you weren't going to be good, you should pull your name out of the draft. And if you aren't going to train, you should have been able to sort of raise your hand and say, yes, I'm willing to swim in the ISL, but I'm not willing to train for it after the Olympics. I'm just going to show up, with my flip-flops and give it my best shot.
Yeah.
So that's the next step in being professional. We won't hit it perfect at this ISL. I don't think the sort of the evolution of the athletes and the coaches has hit that point. I mean, one of the problems you had is not just the athletes' responsibility, but I mean, most club teams and almost all college teams after Olympic trials and then after the small version of U.S. Nationals we had, they're taking breaks. Like that's their holiday. I know in Europe, I mean, people, their 3 big holidays sacred to them. And so, the athletes don't have a place to train. There's not groups that are training in different places. I've got a couple people coming back to San Diego after the first round of ISL and before the semifinals. And so that we'll provide a place to train here in San Diego, but there aren't that many options that are designed around professional swimmers.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Nate, let's keep it moving then.
Australia again. We'll just touch on this real shortly, but it doesn't look like they're going to send a whole team to Dubai or Abu Dhabi in the UAE this December.
What was the reasoning? Did you dig into it a little?
Yeah, I think basically Alex Ballman basically said, hey, man, we just had like 10 weeks. They were away from their families. Now they're 2 more weeks quarantine. They're going to have 2 more weeks quarantined again. It's just too much. But he also said if anyone wanted to go and compete, we'll certainly send you if you want to go.
Oh, interesting. How do they end up getting selected?
All the qualifications are still the same, I think.
Right.
So if you've qualified, then you can go if you want to. I mean,
Gotcha.
honestly, I kind of look at it as like a great opportunity to make some more money. They're putting out more money. It is the year after the Olympics, so there's going to be less people that are going to show up. There's going to be people that don't train, and it's short course, so those world records are ripe for the picking. And every time you take one down, you get $50,000. So it's going to be exciting to see who actually says like, I'd like to go to try to make some money.
Yeah, well, look, there should be, I think, Katinka kind of set this precedent 5, 6, 7 years ago where she became professionally minded to say, I'm going to go to all the big meets. I'm going to race all around the world. I'm going to make as much money as I can. I mean, she made millions that way. And I think it was an example to a lot of other swimmers to be like, look, if you just basically go from meet to meet, you can rack up a lot of money by doing it the right way. And I think more athletes are going to take that on board. And so for the fact that, FINA are providing this type of racing and income now, and then along with the ISL, and then along with your world champs and Olympics and all the other things that you can do. I mean, you can swim 12 months of the year and make a good living out of this if you really put the time and energy into it. Right, David?
Yeah, I think there's no doubt that the opportunity, especially with the pressure that the ISLs put on FINA to increase their funding and increase their support, I think FINA is wise to put it on their premium event, and that's what they've done. So I think it will call out some more people that maybe weren't thinking about going in December that will now go. So that's great. But also, I tell you, I would congratulate Alex and Rohan for the leadership job they're doing with Australia. They're coming off the best Olympics they've ever had. And, I don't think they need a short course world championships to further validate that they have an amazing swimming program and that the Australians are dominant world force in swimming. I think they're able to sort of put it back to the athletes and say, you know what, we're just going to let you guys decide and take care of you and support you more independently if you want to go. And I'm guessing there'll still some relays and things like that. But, most years, the USA, at least historically, when I've gone with USA teams to short course world championships, it's been some kind of an abbreviated team. Obviously, the best collegians don't go normally. And so, it's not like all the countries are bringing their very best team like it's, a true world championships more than the long course version of it. So I think I'm comfortable with, in fact, I would applaud what Australia is doing with their athletes in this decision and would say this is probably one of the better things they can do.
Yeah. Okay. Let's keep moving.
Yeah, let's keep it moving here. All right, college swimming, just a little, got just a little roundup. It hasn't started yet this season, but it looks like the schedules are coming out. Full schedules are coming out, which is exciting to see. But on the bottom of your screen, there's a lot of kids taking fifth-year options. Taylor Ruck's going back to Stanford. Alvin's going back to Texas. So I think could we be seeing like one of the fastest NCAA championships ever coming up this year?
I mean, yeah, why not? I mean, if we can get a full season of training, if we can get a full season of racing, and then you get all these older athletes coming back. I mean, David knows I came into college at the age of 21, so I felt like I was a little bit more advanced than some of the freshmen I was racing against at the age of 21. So if you can get older athletes coming back with tons of experience, I mean, it's going to be a really competitive meet, top to bottom. Hopefully they can get the full season of racing and competing.
I think I think this will be the fastest season. I think, people are, even with the ISL factor, people are figuring out how to swim faster and faster in short course pools. They're figured out how to bounce off walls better. They figured out that the energy system that you can use by leveraging the walls and underwater kicks. I mean, Brett, honestly, you were the first one to do it. And, when you won the national championship, your guys were winning underwater, and it was profound. And I think that is continued to be an evolution of college swimming. Unfortunately, a lot of people aren't transitioning those skills to long course, so we're not seeing the giant time drops, especially from some of the Americans that we have seen historically when there's a balanced dropping in time from short course to long course. Now it's way more so short course. But I do think from a team perspective, especially if they can allow an audience to come back and watch the event, I think it's going to be a very exciting year for the NCAA, super fast. And what's going to happen is next year when 2 classes kick out for the ISL, it'll be a very U.S. dominant draft coming out of the NCAA next year.
Just quickly on this, I'm not sure the answer. Are college athletes allowed to swim in the ISL?
No. And if you swim in the ISL right now, because you've signed a professional contract, you can't jump back into the NCAA. So that's a bit of a challenge. I think that'll get changed. I'm assuming that with the new rules kicking in and all the benefits now moving toward to take care of the athletes, that even something like minor league baseball should be able to jump back into college. And we'll see that, I believe, when enough people sort of challenge that, enough athletes challenge that, I think that'll change eventually to where the NCAA, you'll be able to sort of be in the ISL 1 year and then come back into college swimming.
So if a guy like David Popovich swims ISL in the next couple of weeks, he can't go college?
Correct.
Wow.
Unless they change the rules.
Well, it's a big decision for him to make right now.
For sure. Something else that's going to make this meet this year faster is all the defers. All the people that deferred that didn't swim. Mm-hmm. So Emma Wyant's going to be in the NCAA this year. Tori Husk is going to be in the NCAA this year. So, I think it's going to be loaded. Moving on, one of our special guests, Sarah Dunleavy, she's coming out of retirement, and she is coaching as a volunteer with University of Tennessee. So congratulations to Sarah. If you didn't listen to her interview,
I'll just
go ahead and check hers out.
Yep, check it out. All right, move on.
The University of Louisville, they nabbed Dennis Lockteff, who he was the guy that pulled the lane line at the Olympics that didn't get caught.
Now.
He wasn't. Yeah. David's got some inside info here. I was a little, I jumped the gun on that one.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious that you guys did that. It actually helped Dennis because he got pissed off. He's like, man, everybody thinks I cheated. And I'm like, I mean, he ran into the damn lane line. There's zero chance that at that speed you can't grab a lane line and help yourself on a turn the way he can. He just hit the damn lane line. We don't know how, honestly, because what it was, I think, is when he went in, he was right next to the lane line. He took a short stroke to initiate his turn, I think. And when he did that, he didn't come in front of his head. And when he did that, he hit the lane line. And so, no, it definitely didn't speed him up. It definitely slowed him down. But the aftermath worked out fine because his response was good. And, he's very excited to be joining Louisville. He'll be going in January. And he's joining a Brazilian boy that's also 146 guy. So Arthur will have a nice team with his son as one of the leaders. And Louisville looks like they're going to be very strong this year.
That 800 freestyle relay is going to be gross.
It will be nasty. I need to maybe send him a little apology. I had some fun with that. It was, and actually, I didn't tell you this, David. I'll tell you this publicly. But one of the coaches kind of privately messaged me, was kind of upset with me, and I went back and forth with him a little bit because I don't like being called out So we got a little heated, but I was just having some fun. But yeah, I'll apologize to him publicly and privately.
Yeah, okay, you don't need to. He's a big boy. He'll be fine.
Okay.
And then just the last thing is Ellie Gaillard. She's retiring. The Kiwi from New Zealand, 200 backstroke champion for the University of Kentucky. Good luck in your future career outside of swimming. But, don't be scared to keep swimming. A little masters never hurt anybody. Stretch it out. But congratulations to her.
Absolutely. All right, moving on. Zach Miller. What's up, bud?
Peaty and Pernell Bloom are dancing.
Peaty and Pernell Bloom. So I guess they're not doing ISL then. They're doing some dancing. So there's two people.
Yeah, well, I think they've left it open for Peaty at least. I'm not so sure about Pernell, but I think Peaty, if the London Roar are there in the playoffs, he'll be able to make it.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's not dressed like this though.
Oh,
he's got David's nightgown on.
No, I would say I hope he is dressed like that. It would give everybody a chance. Yeah. We need him to be dressed like that.
Touche.
And Pernell, she's her, because I tried to get her on the LA Current, but she said if she makes the finals or the top 4 or whatever, 6, whatever, and then she would be going until late November. And I'm like, I think you're going to make it to the top 6. I don't know about how appealing dancing and leotards that the British show will be, but I have a feeling the Denmark show will be really good, and I'm sure Pernell knows how to dance and will be very good.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. Am I missing something here? Oh no, sorry, this one. Who is this guy?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I thought
maybe just a troll.
Okay, I thought I must be missing something.
Yeah.
They keep mentioning in the comments.
I wanted to go back real quick, Coach. There was a clip that we played from the interview with Rohan Taylor the other day, and you retweeted it and said it was gold. And I just wanted to play it for the audience because it's only like 58 seconds, real quick. And then I'd like you kind of explain your thoughts on it real quick.
I coached Travis Monty in Rio to 7th in the 400 IM. When I was coaching at Nuttawading, Brendan Smith was a young 15-year-old, I think, at the time. And I used to bring Brendan over and train with Travi 2 times a week in Travis's quality set. And I'd send Brendan off 10 seconds in front of Travis. And Travis would chase Brendan. And I used to tell Brendan, this is what it looks like to train at that level. And then Scott Talbot came in and took Brendan over and realized I've got something here, and started working with him. And then what happened was there was a collection of male athletes in that Nuttawading squad that trained together with Scott. Scott brought that group together, and Wayne Laws carried that group through. So my point is that there was an opportunity in the 400 IM. Scott Talbot started pointing Brendan in that direction. Coaches need to actually start seeing where the opportunities lie and actually going out and actually training and learning and spending time understanding what it takes.
There you go. What do you think of that clip, David?
Nope, got a bad connection.
Well, I had a lot of interference trying to listen to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to your connection there. It's kind of dropped out a little bit. I might, Nate, I'm going to get David to see if he can click back in.
No problem.
I'll give him a text. Let's move on to the next one real quick.
The swim talk of the week
is
it's from New Zealander Lewis Clareburt. He just had gotten out of his 2-week quarantine after the Olympics, and here it is.
Gets out of hotel quarantine. Mother trucker.
A classic. That's good.
Yeah. I think he racked up like 1 million views on that TikTok. Very short, very funny. So yeah, he's in complete lockdown in New Zealand right after getting out of quarantine. So too funny. Lewis Clareburt, congrats. You're the first swim talk of the week.
That is funny. Nice work.
And then there's this one other thing I just wanted to if you guys haven't seen this, check it out. It's called Deep Dive Dubai, and basically it's like 6 Olympic swimming pools. It's like 200 meters or 60 meters deep, and they built this unbelievable sunken city that's like a post-apocalyptic city or something. But you dive down there, and it is amazing. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. You got to see the videos of it. They said that you feel like you're falling when you're going down there because it looks so real.
Get it up, man. There it is.
Yeah, that just doesn't do it justice. You got to go and look at this video. Deep Dive Dubai.
Wow.
You got to check that thing out. But
awesome. David, did we get you back?
Yeah, I've still got a little bit of, I can hear you at least this time, but there's still some static. I'm not sure what it's from. I went to data rather than the Wi-Fi, so not sure.
Yeah, you're a little.
The waves are big today out there, apparently 5-footers, so maybe they're causing a distortion.
Yeah, you're a little messy, so we might take you out. Hang on. Yeah, David's a little messy there.
Yep. Well, that was pretty much it. Other than I wanted to get his thoughts on the Rohan Taylor clip. The Rohan interview was excellent. He talked a lot about the 4x200 freestyle relay and the race strategy and the process behind how they go ahead and choose their relays, which is super interesting. I know we had been talking to a lot of people like Gian Rooney, who had said that this was the biggest topic in Australia, since the Olympics, was like, what happened? And I was just thinking, man, I wish they would have, had that kind of ferocity towards what happened in America, because it seemed like we made a bunch of miscues on choosing those relays. So check out the Rohan Taylor interview. He was excellent.
It does seem like there's a little bit more accountability to the Australian coaching, and I don't know. I just get the feeling that once the U.S. coaches are done with the Olympics, that's it. They just move back to their programs, and I don't know. Maybe we can get David's point of view on that. Let's see if I can pull him back in one more time.
Okay.
He's a mess. Where is David Marsh? He's in Mars. He's
Sorry, Coach.
Sorry, Coach. It's over. That was fun while it lasted.
Yep. All right. Well, we're kind of past our 30-minute mark, which is fine. We got some good time with Coach Marsh there. And we do this show every single Wednesday. Sometimes it'll be at 10 a.m., 12 noon. Sometimes Sonny will be here. Sometimes he won't be. But come on, ask some questions, and we'll still do our long form conversations a couple times a week. So anything else, Brett?
Got some special podcasts coming up at the end of this week. Some Olympic champions, some Olympic champion coaches. A lot of great podcasts ahead of us, so look forward to those. Thanks for the support, everybody, for being on this, and then for supporting the show. Love doing it, and it's just a lot of fun.
Sponsors at the top of the screen.
Yeah,
all swimming sponsors, all can ship international. All their products. So check each and every single one of them out.
Yep. Love you guys. That's it. Thanks a lot. Take care.